All right, here's the second one.
And then this is the first one, and they're saying it's kind of like it was to the tune of the 12 days of Christmas. Instead, it was the 12 days of Thanksgiving, and this was the last frame of that one. And then this one is Mike had asked me what was your favorite piece, and this is the very first piece that I have ever drawn like this character. And I drew it for my mom for Mother's Day, and I have no money, and I didn't know what to do, so I was like, well, I'll draw her something. And I've never really drawn people or really drawn faces or anything like that, so I just whipped something up real fast, and this is what came out of it. Originally, this is not the original picture. I digitized it. It was originally done in colored pencil, and it was originally done one at a they were four different pictures, not just one. And I don't believe, I can't remember if I put them in four different frames or not, but that was the plan. That's what
I
that one
love
is
this
about.
one. Yeah, this one is really powerful.
Thank
I was
you.
gonna ask you about that. You had some before we even do this next one. You have a lot of images on your site that are like around motherhood and that kind of stages. And can you talk a little bit about that? So I know you just kind of mentioned the story with your mom, but what else? Why does
Um,
that strike a chord with you?
well, the reason why I started the whole motherhood series, I guess you could call it, I didn't really realize, but that's what it was until now. But the whole motherhood series was because it was Mother's Day around that time. And when all my coworkers had seen what I was just proud of it. I wasn't expecting it to be as beautiful as it turned out. So I showed all my coworkers and I was real proud of it. And I was telling them, look at this, look at this. And two of them were like, can you redraw it and let me buy it? I'll buy it off of you. So I ended up redrawing it, and they bought it off of me and gave it to their mothers for Mother's Day. And somebody said, I wished you would have did something for boys. So I had redone it, and I did one as a male one as well. So and then I also did a couple more. I don't know if they're all on my site, but they are all on my Facebook page.
Just a little side note, you had mentioned that this was for your mom, but when I look at the image, I immediately think of my mom and my relationship and that bond. So that's how powerful your work is and your images are, your illustrations. So thank you for that. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. That's exactly why I do my art.
All right, we got this next image here.
Okay, so this was the final image, and throughout the whole thing, she was awesome to work with. Her name is Talia Kingston, and she throughout the whole entire thing, she didn't disagree with anything. But finally, at the end, she tells me, "Can you change something?" And she was kind of hesitant about it. Can you kind of change something? She said, can you make it more close up, like the turkey's flying into the camera because he's so scared? And I was like, that's a great idea. And so I redrew it. And this probably took me all of an hour to create. And I sent it right back to her. And she was like, I love it. This is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. And I told her, I said, to be honest with you, this and still it still is to me my favorite digital illustration that I have done.
I love it. It has a whole story behind it.
I love that story too. And when you talk about like how do you as an artist balance or take that sort of like how do you create something with someone else? So in that story, somebody comes back to you and is like, people are always like hesitant to give feedback, I feel like, to an artist, right? Because you're like,
Yeah.
I couldn't draw this, for me, like I couldn't do this in my wildest, like couldn't even come close to this. Stick figures is like, even on a good day, stick figures are rough. So I'd never want to give feedback, but how do you as somebody who is, you know, produces art, like how do you feel about getting feedback or people's ideas about it? Is it something you're like, oh cool, or is it like, shut the hell up, like what are you talking about?
Actually, if I'm working with them and they're really clear on what they want, usually they don't ask me to reproduce anything, but I do accept the feedback. That's kind of something right off in art school that they teach you. You need to get comfortable with it. There's going to be people who are hard on you, and she was. Maggie McKeegan, she was the art teacher at the SGU whenever I was taking art classes. She's the one who told me that. And, you know, I didn't really believe her. And then kind of I was getting scared. Like, man, is she going to be mean the whole semester, or how's she going to react the whole semester? You know, I was real scared, but she wasn't. And she did give me a lot of feedback that most people, and actually a lot of people in the class, did take as like she was mean, but she wasn't being mean. She was just trying to help. And so that's kind of where I guess I can accept feedback from someone that's an artist, but it's hard for me to accept feedback from, like you said, somebody who doesn't do art. But if it's something that they want, and it's something that, like a family portrait, and if it's something that maybe they wanted to change the color, or I don't like that I'm wearing a dress, or maybe can you put pants on me, or change the hair color, because most of the time all my hair colors is black, and that's just because I use a black liner pencil, or a liner marker, and that's why it's just much easier to do it all in black. But if they want to change the color of the hair, then I do, or maybe the texture of the hair. Sometimes they say, you know, oh, they don't have a braid, can you not put a braid on them, or they have short hair, or, you know. So I do work with them. So if they want changes, I do work with them, and I try my hardest not to have any type of feelings about it. But I'm only human, so yeah, sometimes I do feel a little hurt, I guess.
Oh, totally. Well, so something I wanted to ask was one of the most distinct um, kind of signatures I think of your art is the no face characters, and I was really curious about that. Like I find them, they're kind of like Julian said, like it helps you say like, oh, that could be this person I know, or that person I know, or there's immediate relatability to it, and there's a universal kind of nature to it. Why did you start doing the no face, and why have you continued to have that as the way you approach some of your characters and pieces?
Well, to be honest with you, is because I didn't know how to draw faces or hands or feet. That was like the most I struggled with. And I mean, now I can. And it's just with practice, it's come with practice. I have practiced and practiced and practiced. And I guess one of the reasons why I continued to draw the same character over and over was because on on these art groups that I'm in, one of the posts said, if you're having trouble being an artist and you don't know if you're an artist, find something and draw every day, or at least every other day, for a whole year. And if it doesn't get better, throw it out and move on and do something else. So, and it has only improved. And I guess, like you said, with the no faces, the reason why I have kept it like that, because I could add faces, you know, and I have. But to me, it's just, I don't like the way it looks with faces. And I guess that's the number one reason. And number two is just what Jillian said, you know, so other people can relate and say, hey, you know, that could be me, or that could be my friend, or, you know. And my daughter, every time it doesn't matter who I draw, it could be for, you know, it could be even a boy, and she'll still say, is that me? So if it's a little kid, and, you know, she always, is that me? So she sees herself in everything that I draw.
So now that we know a lot more about you, we got to see some of your work, and your name is getting out there. People are starting to recognize your illustrations. Let's talk a little bit about this Thanksgiving play. Can you tell us more about this play? Just give us a brief little intro as to what it is.
Well, it is like you guys were talking about in the beginning, it's about wokeness. And at first, when I first read it, I was kind of skeptical about it. I was like, what? Especially the skits. They're kind of a little bit violent. And that's just a forewarning, might not be for, kids if you're going to let them listen to it. But I guess in a way it still is. It's, like I said, it's about the wokeness of the whole Thanksgiving thing. And it is just about, it's only four characters through the whole play. And it's just about them trying to get Thanksgiving play put together for children. And they hire this Native American actor, and it turns out she's not a Native American. She is more of like she could just play a Native American. And so they're saying, okay, well, we can't do this play the way we want it to because, we don't have no Native American actors. So they end up just walking away from the table and saying, this is our play because it's nothing. Thanksgiving was basically nothingness for Native Americans. So I guess it's all about how you interpret the play, and but that's kind of what I got from it, was that it was just basically like nothingness to me is what Thanksgiving is. But as a Native American, I guess.
Awesome. So have you ever, this question is a little bit more off topic, but I like to talk to people about finding their purpose in life and just what makes them happy. Do you feel like you're moving more towards your purpose because you're doing something that you love, and this is actually a gift of yours that you're sharing with others? So you're not just, talented at it, but other people, it resonates with them and they feel something special too. So do you feel like you're moving more into your purpose? And again, it's a little off topic, but how do you feel just like on a personal level about it?
Actually, yeah, I do. It is kind of. I was actually just thinking about it this morning, and how much my husband has pushed me. Even right now, they're all outside playing. That's why I keep looking, because my window's right in front of me, and that he has my daughter outside. And I told him, I said, I gotta do this interview. I need you guys to be quiet. He said, well, I'll take her outside and I'll go do something with her for a while. So I said, okay, so just that in itself, uh, made me realize that I am doing what I am meant to do, and he is making sure of that. And I am so thankful for him and for all of my family for um, pushing me, even though, and every day, I have worked 11 years, a full time job for 11 years, which is all my adult life. I went into the position I went into that job when I was 19 years old, and I left it at 31. So, it was a long time of me working. So it's really hard still. It's been a whole year, and it's still really hard for me to accept the fact that I have a husband that is capable of taking care of me. My mom, as long as I help her with the ranch, she helps me out with whatever I need, whether that's, toilet paper or shampoo or whatever, she helps me out with that as well. So, yeah, definitely it is. I see it now. I see now that I need to accept the help right now, because especially with this interview, that eventually I am going to achieve my goal, which is to have an art studio with a little art supply business.
Awesome.
Super awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you ever see yourself, just with your art, and there is a lot of Native illustrators and artists out there, but it's just not kind of making its way out into the world. But with that, it's become, what is the word? Like, you're an activist almost. And do you see yourself as an activist by sharing this type of work, or?
Actually, no, I never really, I guess I didn't see it like that. But I do want to eventually, help kids become more into art. And I have went and talked to a student at the middle school, and just talking with her and kind of mentoring her on her art, even though it was only one time, made me realize that that's something that I definitely want to do, because she was definitely a way better artist than even I am. And she was like, I think she's 12 or 13 years old. She's awesome. I was nowhere near that awesome at that age.
Can you talk a little bit about, I don't know if you remember, but actually the first time we met, I think in person, was in Rapid City, up at LNI. There was a social emotional intelligence training that we were doing, and I'd been talking about different pieces. And one of the things that I had learned about like keeping yourself healthy and kind of like balanced out is to have those kinds of activities, art being one of them, that are almost like that therapeutic kind of place. What do you see the role of art or craft or any of that being, especially for young people, to kind of like help establish that sense of who you are, and that balance, and that kind of like Jillian said, that purpose, to be able to I don't want to go so far as to say healing, but to kind of just help create those healthy habits and that healthy routine. How has that played a role in your life, and how do you see that for other people?
Well, uh, I have, like I said, I had a really dark childhood, so my art has definitely been therapeutic. And when I'm feeling anxious, because I have really bad anxiety, and especially during that, I do remember whenever I first met you, and that was the first workshop that I had ever gone to. I had been at SGU at that point, I believe, 10 years, and I had never been to no workshops before that. So I went back to SGU telling them all about your guys' workshop. We need to have them here. They need to help us. And I just went over their heads. But yeah, I definitely talked you guys up. That was a wonderful workshop. And during that whole workshop, like I said, I have anxiety real bad. So through that whole workshop, I sat there and I drew. I drew Christmas art that whole entire workshop, and that's what helped me. Um, and that's kind of what I want to show kids, because during like school, I always talked a lot. My mom said, "Yep, baby had a good." My parents, and my family calls me baby. She said, "Yep, baby had good report card. Everything was good. Parent teacher conferences were all good. The only thing they said was all she does is talk. We got it. We had to move her. She talks too much." So they always was moving me. I was always not near anybody that I could talk to. So I had to do art. Or I would sit there and I would doodle. And so that really helps with my anxiety, definitely. And I want to show kids that are having a hard time, that could be very therapeutic to them as well.
Real quick, I want to jump on over to our Facebook page because we have a couple of comments and just people showing their love and appreciation for you, Katari. So we got Lisa Bouvet who commented. We got Pam McCampbell. She says, beautiful drawing. Angel Steed. And then we got Pam again. She says, can you let us know your Facebook page, please?
Oh, awesome. My Facebook page is Random Art by Kay Wilson. And that's as well as my website, randomartbykwilson.com.
Awesome. And we will get both of those posted up too on the thread after the show. So that way, if anybody who stumbles or comes across this, make sure that they can find their way there. I'm going to continually plug for people. If you have Christmas shopping to do, get on it. There's some really
awesome,
cool stuff. So it's great. Speaking of your page, so I was checking it out before because I wanted to give a little refresher to myself before we jumped on the show. And one of the things I thought was super cool. So I'm a 90s kid. And I was checking out all your caricatures that you have done of like classic 90s cartoon characters, but redone as native characters. And the one that for me was like the coolest was the Ninja Turtles all sitting around a powwow drum. Check it out. I was like, what the heck? I thought that was really cool. Talk a little bit about that. Where did that come as a art style or inspiration?
Well, originally I had the idea about them playing or sitting around a drum group. That's how I always have seen them. I love Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtle everything. I don't know if you can see my Ninja Turtles hanging behind me, my Ninja Turtle coffee cup, and I'm really into Ninja Turtles. Always have been. So those were the very first ones that I did, and I told my husband, I said, what I want to do is I want to make a little drum, and I wanted because my daughter had a bunch of Ninja Turtle figurines that we had found in the Goodwill, so they were the old ones. She of course lost the heads and arms and before I could get to them. So but my original plan was to have them all sitting around a drum, and I was going to make them into Native American characters. But when my mom had got me this digital tablet, and I was able to do digital art better, I used it on my computer, and it turned out even more amazing than I expected it. So then that's why I continued on with the cartoons that I did.
I love it. I don't know if you're on TikTok, but on TikTok, there's this whole hashtag and this whole native series that basically says, whatever is going on in the world, whatever is popular or trending, make it native. So I feel like that's something you definitely have done with Ninja Turtles. But I am curious to know, do you take personal, or I should say customized orders, or do you just sell what's already made on your website or your Facebook page?
No, I definitely take customized orders. I have done several customized orders. I can do them to where if you're going to, if you want to order them just for you and not let me resell them, it is a little bit pricier. But if you're gonna let me kind of resell them or alter the design a little bit and resell them, then it'll be a little bit cheaper. But yeah, I definitely do customized designs, and I actually did a couple for your mom. I don't know if she ever showed them to you for her cleaning business and for her soap business. So
Oh my gosh.
When I did her little cleaning business, I drew her as like a cleaning person, and yeah, so you have to ask her about it.
Oh my gosh, I don't know, I did not put two and two together because she sent them to me and we were talking about how perfect this piece of art was. And she told me who you were, and I don't know why I didn't put two and two together. But yeah, we're actually trying to figure out now, like, how do we want to market this? So we are going to use your images. How crazy. I feel so
Awesome.
cool.
Hey, we
Yeah,
had a
why?
comment. We had a comment too on the page from Sherry Red Owl. She was saying to ask about your calendars. Does that ring
Oh, yeah,
bells? Yep.
yeah, definitely. Got one right here. Um, this was for November, of course, and then it's backwards. But yeah, I did calendars for 2020, and I actually am working on 2021. And now that I know how to do it and I know how to print it, oh, it was so hectic at the beginning of the year, and I didn't get them out till almost February, so they weren't really big. But next year I do plan to. I mean, this year I do plan to get them out before the new year. And I was kind of thinking about doing a poster, but I'm not real sure yet. So I will keep you guys posted as long as you stay on my Facebook page. So
Well, awesome. I'm so happy you took the time to meet with us today, especially because nobody's working, nobody's required to be at work today, but you took this extra time out of your day to just tell us about yourself. And I just want to say that I hope you continue with your work because, again, you're just so talented. You're very humble, down to earth. But I really do just hope that you recognize your talent. Again, we were talking about your purpose and everything, but we kind of strive for our kids to believe in ourselves and we push for that. Oh, sorry. She wanted to share your image. I don't know if you guys can see it. So that's Terry's image that she drew for our company. I lost my train of thought, but again, I just hope that you continue with the work that you are doing. But we only have a couple minutes left here on the show. Is there like a last minute piece of advice or some positive words that you would like to share with anybody who's watching live?
I just want to say that first of all, I want to say thank you for doing this because I really had fun. This is awesome. My husband's out there giving me thumbs up and smiling at me, and so he's all happy and proud for me too. And but I also wanted to say to the young people that are out there or anybody who has kids, encourage them to do art. If they're into it, encourage them to do it. I grew up with people telling me constantly, "Don't do art. It's not going to take you anywhere." Like I said, I took art classes, and I'm just a little bit away from getting my AA in art, but I quit because everybody was telling me, "Don't. It's not going to take you anywhere." I believed them. It's not going to take me anywhere. So I started going into business, and now I can put them both together. I'm just a little bit away from getting my business degree, so I just want to say to anybody that is struggling with it, being an artist, don't give up. Do not give up. Because if I had given up, I wouldn't be where I am today.
So awesome, Katari. That was a really fun hour. It flew by. Great last words. I really appreciate it. Even if it's not art, with whatever it is that you want to do, just that life journey of like sticking with that passion and kind of trying to end up in a place where it's good for you, it's good for your family, it's good for your community, right? It's all good. That's the best place to try and end up. So for everybody watching, Random Art by Kay Wilson, get on there. Final plugs. Get on and follow her on Facebook. Amazing stuff coming out. I'm already got a note over here to check out for your calendar. I want one for 2021, so that's super awesome. But thank you so much for taking the time to come and to share with us and be really honest and vulnerable. And it was just good. I really enjoyed myself, so I appreciate it.
Yep, me too. Thank you. I appreciate it too. You guys have a good weekend.
Yourself as well.
Thanks, Katari. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep. See you.
Doksha, everybody.
See you, Doksha.